I really didn't have any reservations. I really just had hope, you know, and a curiosity, you know, just to what are they going to cook up, these crazy cats. And it's just been really inspiring. It's been hard, but it's also been, but that's what makes it really good, you know, rolling up the sleeves and trying to realize this dream. I mean, it comes down to, you know, Larry and Andrew, what they wrote and what they want to realize. Everyone knows that they're being asked to do their best. And they're being asked to do their best for something that, for the people involved, find very engaging. How can you not be, you know, excited by getting a chance to hopefully do the best work on this project that you might ever get the chance to do in your creative life, you know? Well, I know personally that we've done things that I don't believe have ever been attempted in Western action cinema before. And the stuff that I had the opportunity to participate in, again, is just so ambitious.
I signed on without having read the scripts, which is something that I've never done in my entire career. And that's just down to how much I trusted Larry, Andy, their vision, the story, the character, the company that came together to do it. You get a script, you sort of imagine what your character's like, you have conversations with your director, you meet with your costume designer, and that starts to come together. You get your makeup thing together, and your character comes together, and then comes the moment where you actually enter that world that a whole group of unseen people have been preparing, planning, and putting together. And for me, it's an absolutely magical moment. And the things that Owen and Hugh and their crews have put together are just incredible. The car chase is unstoppably watchable, man. The car chase will be blowing people's minds for 50 years. You know, I've heard Larry say it before. It's like, I dare anybody to, like, this is the most complex movie. You know, it's like, but, you know, to his credit, it really is. Reloaded is going to be unstoppably watchable. There are things in Reloaded that nobody's ever seen before.
The first Matrix was so beautiful and hard and full of so much. And I was afraid coming around again for the second and third that it couldn't compare, or that it wouldn't compare, and it's just been even more special. There was absolutely no question in my mind that I would love the scripts. I trust Larry and Andy completely. And I felt so grateful that I get to be in these movies and be a part of something that is so special and deep and, you know, not a joke. You know, you could take something like The Matrix that was so successful and just, you know, lose it in the sequels. But I just feel that they have just taken them and made them even more and fuller, and continuing on from the greatness that The Matrix was about. This has been one of the greatest, you know, by far the greatest work experience I've ever had, and by far one of the greatest life experiences that I've ever had. Every day. I've had it really, I have to say honestly, every day that I've shown up, I've had a great day.
I mean, I really loved working with them on the first one. I particularly enjoyed working with those two, and that was really why I ultimately signed on to do these, was because I thought it would be fun working with them again. The action?
Yeah.
Well, I guess the action of the first film was something that couldn't have been done 5 years before. we did that first film, and it was breaking new ground, and it was saying, well, we want to do this, we can't do it, so let's work out a way of doing it. And the same's happened with this film. There have been bullet time was invented for the first film. Well, there have been certain things invented for this film in order to create something that was desired.
Niobe and Jada we are so much alike, you know. And I met Larry and Andy the first time for the first Matrix. I had auditioned for Trinity and came very close to the Trinity character, becoming Trinity. But you know, I just feel like Niobe is so much like myself. She is that personality that I have to fight a lot within my own self, that is constantly making me, you know, just working me into the ground. You know what I mean? Because that's Niobe. She is, you know, she's a soldier. And once she has her mind set on something, you are not going to change her mind, and she's going to do what she wants to do. You know what I mean? And she'll do it until death. You know how sometimes when you say, oh, a sequel's coming out, and your expectation of it is kind of high, but most of the time you get really disappointed? People will be thoroughly, thoroughly satisfied, I believe, with this picture. And the brothers are doing action sequences in this movie that the audience will probably never see anywhere else, for the simple fact that it just costs too much money for anybody else to do it. And I just feel like they will, like they did in the first one, see action unlike anything they've ever seen before.
Actually, I have to say that I'm very happy to be involved in this movie because I'm a really big fan of Larry and Andy Wachowski, and I really loved their first film, Bound. It's important to understand who is Persephone, who actually is not human. I mean, Persephone is not human, but she wants to feel human emotions, and she's like a vampire. Just instead of sucking blood, she sucks emotions and feelings from human beings.
I love the first one. Like, you know, it was one of my dreams to actually get a chance to be in this one. So when it came up, I'm just like I'm there. I'll do whatever. I'll just let me in. I want to be down. So I'm looking forward to seeing all the stuff that I couldn't be in. All the stuff that I would love to have been in. Like I would love to have been in like a lot of the those fight scenes with Keanu and Hugo.
Oh, it's going to be unreal. How do you think it's going to turn out? Yeah, it's just going to be, you know, Matrix 1 blew your mind away because of its concepts and its ideals, but also in the way it was shot and the way it looked. But this time round, it's you know, it's Matrix Reloaded, and it is exactly what it says
It is
there.
reloaded.
It answers so many questions you had in the first one. I mean, I think Larry and Andy have been very clever in getting a nucleus around them that can see their image and their foresight.
It was the magic of the first
Yeah.
Matrix. I mean, I watched that. I had to watch that 3 times.
They had the story, and they felt like we're bringing everybody back together again, and we're going to build these sets and make these clothes and get these actors together. We might as well just tell the whole story, because if we just tell part of it and then go back and do them again, it just, you know, it made more sense to just do it all at once. And everybody wanted to come back. It wasn't a situation of trying to convince anybody to come back. It was a question of who we were going to use and how we were going to use them, and what new actors we were going to use to be the new parts. And it was just a done deal. The entire schedule is 270 shooting days, which is incredible. But when you analyze what was done in those days, it wasn't just the straight shooting of the movie. You're looking at 4 or 5 units sometimes. You're looking at motion capture units. You're looking at universal capture, which is when we're capturing just facial expression. You're looking at that enormous second unit activity. Of course, the first unit, but many first units. You're looking at shooting for the movie, for the video game, shooting scenes for the video game, shooting motion capture for the video game, shooting all different types of blue screen for the video game, blue screen for the movie. And of course, the boys, supervising all this. And the whole picture was made as one movie, and then it was cut in half, and it'll be showed to the audience in two halves. But I mean, it's unbelievable. I mean, the work that Wu Ping and Dion Lam did is just the fight choreography is beautiful, and Keanu and Carrie and Laurence Hugo. I mean, they really worked so hard so their movements were quick and crisp, and they all feel and look like they know what they're doing, and it's just a wonderful experience to see and watch the movie get made and then see it completed.
If you make something totally true, people will respond to it. That's the lesson of it. And this is the same way. It's absolutely eccentric. It's a different movie in some senses than the first one. It's a larger canvas. But it's the same characters, the same feelings and so forth. So it's not much different. It's a larger canvas, and it's like, as a painter, you take a large painting and a small painting, and it's an entirely different feeling that you're going to come up with. And one tool doesn't, the tools you'd use to use one, to make one, are not necessarily the tools you need for another one. So they picked up new skills in order to work at this larger canvas.
Well, people will have seen Larry and Andy's first film, and when they work, they, I think, write the script and come up with a very solid idea. They're a great script to read. Everything, I think, flows from Larry and Andy's mind, and to be able to take that along with everyone else on this kind of journey from being a written word to a drawing on a piece of paper to an image, to something that's physically built or imaginarily built in a computer, it is a wonderful thing.
On the freeway, there's going to be a variety of accelerated action sequences that are going to really be a test of visual effects, helping to seamlessly integrate stunts that seem to be just beyond any physically plausible goal. This particular flick, we are trying a few expanded stunt events. Two that I particularly like would be the one in which the agent jumps from car to car, and that one was coordinated, as were a lot of other ones, through extensive computer planning, and nearly the entire action in the background was conceptualized with the brothers, just to give them the view and the magnitude of the size of the pileup, as well as the foreground destruction. Get the magnitude sort of where they wanted before RA started to coordinate how to do that.
Well, Neo and Trinity each take a long journey in the first movie and become somebody different. So in the time between the end of the first movie and the beginning of the second movie, they've taken another jump, which you'll see when you see the second movie. And they've accepted certain things about themselves and are worried about other things about themselves. So we tried to kind of reflect that in their new confidence and stuff like that, in what they wear. It's fun for me because we can play a lot. You know, no, Carrie-Anne's not worried about wearing skin-tight leather anymore, and Keanu's not worried about, you know, being the one. So we have more places to go for them.